This is a presentation of the Sports Source Digital Network, presented by Hearthside Bank.
Welcome into the Sports Source Digital Network. This is 5 Questions. I'm John Pennington. That's VFL Marlon Walls. That is John Wilkerson. That is Ryan Callahan of GoVols247.com. John, it's like I expect people to know you. Vol Network, Sports Animal, 99.1 The Sports Animal, Sports Animal, what is it, 991sportsanimal.com? Mm-hmm. There you go. And the praise to John Wilkerson. So much older than me.
Everybody.
Yeah. I thank these guys for being here. If you like the goofy content we do on this station, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. 5 questions. We don't have a football game this weekend, so I'm just throwing some random stuff out here. All right, question 1. Now, you've got to get out of here. Is this going to be a faster one? Or maybe if you just stand up and leave, it'll tell us we've ticked you off. Question number 1. When the SEC announces its new 9-game format, would you like to see UT open with 3 non-conference games, like a full preseason game, full preseason next year? Or would you prefer to save one of those non-conference games for a November homecoming date, like New Mexico State, the way they've been doing it recently? How would you set it up? Would you rather see all 3, like the Big Ten, all 3 of the non-conference up at the top, and then you get into the conference slate? Or do you say save a dud for late?
Are those my only 2 choices?
That's it.
I can't have a game in October, for instance, a non-conference game in October.
Well, they don't do that now. So.
Yeah, they should. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
So I hate the way they do it now
ahead.
Because nobody cares about these games in November. They're awful. So if those are my only 2 choices, give me the 3 non-conference games at the front.
Okay.
But if I could have one in
October,
that might break up the, you don't want ideally 9 conference games in a row. That's just it's already a meat grinder of a schedule. Even if you have an open date in the middle, that's just a lot. So I think having the non-conference game in there helps to break it up and makes it more manageable for players, but for fans, it's awful. So I think I would rather have the 3 at the front end and be done with them. But if you could have it in October, I think that's the happy medium where maybe at that point in the year, people are still willing to sit in the stands and wait through 3.5 hours of a bad game to at least see young players develop.
I'm for an NFL preseason, get the duds out of the way, and also get your young guys their taste to play early so they're ready for the rest of the season. I don't like the late games like this, the November thing with New Mexico State. Could care less.
Yeah.
John, what would you do if you had control of that schedule?
I do agree with what Ryan said in terms of it is such a grinder to go 9 straight conference games. I kind of like the designee for homecoming.
Keep a dud late.
And that's just simply for the fact that you don't give the opportunity to a conference school to say, look at that, we're their homecoming. They're disrespecting.
Could you not do homecoming in week 3?
You could, but a lot of times they schedule it later because
Yeah.
you've got the other things that you've lined up in terms of your promotions.
There you go. Yeah. So you would, if you're given the choice, you keep one late.
I would.
Okay. You're wrong.
I don't even know what week we played New Mexico State, so that's where I am. Give me the 3 early preseason games, get warmed up, and then we start SEC play.
Okay, very good. Question number 2. 4 SEC jobs have already come open. Could be a couple more, Kentucky and South Carolina. Heck, and if the Lane Kiffins and Eli Drinkwitz start moving around, could be a wild offseason. But 4 are open right now. LSU, Auburn, Florida, Arkansas. Rank those jobs in the order that you would want them if you were a coach. Marlon, if they came to you and they said, you were a high school coach, we want to make you our new head coach at LSU,
buyout?
Auburn, Florida, Arkansas. What order would you take those jobs?
I'm going to go LSU just because the big thing with LSU is the environment, but then also you don't have anybody in the state that you're recruiting against. So you pretty much lock up the whole state.
Yep.
So you ought to get most of the talent out of Louisiana. So I go LSU, and then I go Florida. I think about those Urban Meyer years when Florida was rolling, Tim Tebow guys I played against. Like it was fascinating to go down there and go play those guys and see that atmosphere. I think with the right coach, you can get that mentality back. And then I go Auburn and then Arkansas. I think Auburn, you still got a big one on your schedule, that big rival between you and Alabama. A lot of people in the SEC get up for that one. And then I have to finish up with Arkansas. I just think it's kind of a
Tougher job.
back end. Yeah, tougher job, and it's harder to recruit there. That sort of deal. You don't get as much talent coming out of the state of Arkansas. I got it that way.
Okay.
I think historically he is perfect in how he stacked them 1 to 4. And at the same time, nowadays, I think Auburn is your number 1 because it's the one with the least amount of crud circling the program. Because you know that it's a good post and you know that there's support there. So that's number 1. Florida probably sneaks into number 2 simply for the fact that even though their NIL has been really wonky, they don't have as much stuff that's swirling about in terms of bad press. Arkansas comes in at number 3, even though their AD has said, you know what, we've got all of these resources that we're going to make sure that baseball wins, that we're still good in track, and that basketball is basketball. He's told the alumni, we just don't have it to compete in football. So that's number 3. And because the governor is crazy in the state of Louisiana, and he has fired the school president and the AD and the head coach, I mean, that's where historically it's the best job, but right now it is the worst job in terms of who is going to take that.
I love your list because it's all over the place. Go ahead.
That's why they call him John Hot Take Wilkerson.
That's right. That was good. Because my list is different. The LSU thing, that gives me pause. LSU would be number 1 for me. Same reason you say, because there's nobody else in state and it's a talent-rich state. And that's a state where Les Miles and Ed Orgeron won a national championship at that job. Yeah. But boy, the governor thing is interesting. I'll chalk it up that governor can't be there forever. LSU would be my number 1. Florida would be my number 2. 3 would be Arkansas. For the opposite reason of you. I'd have a long conversation with that AD, but I'd say, okay, are you serious about the fact that you're telling me we don't have the money to go win championships? So you're not going to hold me to championships. You want me to run a clean, solid, good program, but I can win 8-9 games a year and I'm solid? I'll take that. Auburn is my last one because you were constantly compared to Alabama.
Yep.
And I don't want to be in the same state. Those people, I don't want to be compared to Alabama because that is traditionally, there's 2-3 programs in this country that are always good. Bama's one of those 2 or 3.
Yep.
I don't want to be held to that standard. So I would take the cowardly route. Give me Loserville in Arkansas rather than the high pressure of Auburn. What are you doing?
I like the way you're thinking on this. I'm going to go with Marlon's order, the historic one. I think that's the way. I thought we all might go with that.
Yeah.
I think that's the fair way. Fair way to assess them because LSU you can win there. If you're good enough, the governor's not going to fire you. You're that's the least of his concerns. So the AD, that's his problem. But for you as head coach, no worries. Florida, I actually think we got My long-term view of that job has changed a little bit. I used to think that was the top 5 job in the country, and now I've been on beating that drum for a long time on the television show. It's not as good as people think. Well, let's look back at what it is now. 2 generational coaches have won there, and nobody else has.
Nope.
So it's a tougher job than we thought it was 15 years ago, but it's not a bad job, and you can certainly win there with the right hire. So I'd still have it number 2. I'm with you. I'm more torn between Arkansas and Auburn. Because I think Auburn is such a tough job because you have Georgia and Alabama on the schedule every single year. Yeah. The one thing that gives it the edge over Arkansas to me is the proximity to Atlanta and in-state talent. You've got access to talent that Arkansas does not. So there's something to be said for Arkansas having job security and being able to win there, and you can use your revenue sharing money well. And maybe
Auburn expects championships. Arkansas may not.
Right. So I would have a hard time choosing between those 2. But to me, Auburn is one of the toughest jobs in the SEC because the expectations are unrealistic for the most part.
Well, which one are you picking?
Gun to the head, I'd pick Auburn just because I might be able to win a championship there. It's a close call though because the expectations are crazy high.
That question went a lot better than I thought. I thought we'd all say the same thing. That's good.
This show is brought to you by Games and Things. Visit OurGameRoom.com to make your room look like our room.
All right. Question number 3. If you could make any adjustment to the use of replay in college football or basketball, what would it be? And if you wouldn't make a change, then just say that.
I think I would channel,
No, go ahead.
Bill Belichick, and I think you give coaches 2 challenges, and they can challenge anything. It's not you can't challenge that play. You can challenge anything to see if there was pass interference or if there wasn't. And I think the same in basketball, that you're able to review anything. 2 challenges. It doesn't slow down the game. Make everything on the table.
Okay.
I'm the youngest person on the panel, if y'all don't know that. But I'm super old school, and so for me, it's I would take it all the way out. Let's go back to what it was. It literally slows I can't watch a game now without after every play, there's a flag, or they're looking at something, or they're challenging something, or they're re-looking at. Just play the football game. Fans are going to be peed off anyways, regardless whether they get it right or get it wrong. One fan base is going to be upset. Play the football game. Let's get the flow of the game going. I don't know how they get in the flow of a game with so much stoppage that happens after every play.
But you're okay with like the Jabbar Gaffney catch, for instance. So that's something you could review now.
Yeah.
Back then you could. You're okay with just accepting.
My life has gone on. Has yours not? I mean, that we all move on.
Yeah.
No.
We may beat Georgia at home if they don't go review the Pig Howard deal and see if the ball was dropped out of bounds. We might,
I just think all that stuff
Beat
comes
number
out in the
six
wash.
Georgia.
Look, because you said that, I'll get off of it, but I've said that. I'm done with replay.
Yeah.
I'm over it. Because it's supposed to be an entertainment. It is supposed to entertain me.
Yeah.
And when you're giving me an extra 20 minutes a game of just standing and looking at a tape, I don't need it. I don't need that. Doesn't
Replay.
entertain me. And for years there was no replay, and you get a bad call and you move on. There are bad calls in every game with replay.
Yep.
They act like, well, we'll get it right now. No, you're not. You're taking it from this guy's 2 eyes, and you're just giving it to somebody else's 2 eyes. Okay. Now, if you want to, if I'm going to back away from that, just give a different answer, then I'm going to give you 60 seconds. There is a clock on it.
Yes.
Boop. As soon as that comes up, it is up for 60 seconds. Because the rule says clear and obvious. It's supposed to be clear and obvious. Takes you more than 60 seconds, I got news for you. It ain't clear and it ain't obvious.
Yeah.
That's it.
So if you want to keep it, I want it cut down to 60 seconds. But I'm with Marlon. I want it out. I especially want it out of college basketball. Done. Where you can go back at after a timeout and say, oh, by the way, they hit a 3 we missed. We're putting a point here, and we're taking another point. Oh, to hell with that. No.
I like the 60-second clock. What I was going to say is I like his idea. You can challenge anything. I think penalties is the big thing. You have to be able to challenge a penalty that's not just a substitution penalty.
You can challenge pass interference.
Yeah, and
That's a
It's
judgment call, though.
It's a slippery
But you
slope,
only
but
get
you only get a couple challenges or 3 challenges, whatever, per game. The other thing I was going to say is stop reviewing targeting penalties at all during games. Maybe after the game, review it to see if a player needs to be suspended for the first half the following week, but otherwise, don't review them during the game. That's not one.
But you're not taking them out of the
No, you're
second
taking
half. If you do it in the first half, we're not reviewing it. You could go ahead and play the second half. What I would do is that's good, but just change it to where, all right, we're not going to review it here. So you're not going to miss the second half, or you. Well,
it's an ejection. It's an ejection.
Yeah,
either
okay.
way.
I was going to say just make it the next game.
Because I wouldn't call it unless it's the most obvious thing, and
or
if
just
it's
take it out of the game completely.
I mean, you could, but
what I mean is,
Yeah.
Instead of ejecting somebody,
Yeah.
just the league office looks at it this week and says, you don't play next week.
Yeah, and maybe
so
that
you
is
may
the way to
finish
do it.
this
That's
game,
it.
you don't play next
Yeah.
week, and that way we're not wasting time.
But-
But all of us are for cutting down
on reviews.
the amount of
Yeah.
time.
Yep. Games are too long.
All right, we've got a race to get you finished here. So number 4, if you could change the sports calendar, would you start basketball around Halloween, which it's now crept to? Would you start it around Thanksgiving, which I remember? Or would you start it around Christmas? And I'll answer it, that's where it would be. In my opinion, I don't like basketball and football overrunning each other. I don't like the overlap. Maybe it's just the media guy in me. I'd rather just focus on one thing. But I would start it around Christmas. I think it's way too many games. They're playing. You don't need half these games. You don't need Northern Kentucky. You don't need Mercer. You're doing that because you can fill that arena to watch them play Poughkeepsie Tech. No, cut it down. Start it in Christmas. Your take.
Keep it right where it is. I like the fact that you get to ease into it in terms of Halloween, that the games are spread out. I think you only accelerate it. And for most teams now that have huge changes in their roster from one year to the next, I think they can use the time and use it wisely. I wouldn't change it at all.
I'm with him. Us sports junkies. I like the fact that I can go watch Mercer versus somebody. What would you say, Pipsky?
Really? You like Mercer versus Poughkeepsie Tech?
On a Tuesday.
right.
That sounds
That
good
is
to
a
me.
junkie.
I take it.
My personal opinion, I don't need it till Thanksgiving, but I'm not the core basketball fan that probably watches every single game. So we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Let the junkies have their basketball in late October, early November, and everybody else can tune in after Thanksgiving, like I do for the most part.
Number 5, the NCAA has decided that players who've left school early for the NBA's G League can return to play more college basketball. Good call? Bad call? Why? Ryan Callahan.
Bad call. I mean, this is a professional league. Why is anybody allowed to leave for a professional league and come back to college? Now, I know college is not an amateur sport anymore because they're all getting paid. But
good point.
So there's that. But I mean, I don't see how that's any different. They didn't think they were leaving for just the G League. Probably they thought they were leaving for an NBA career. Yeah. So I think this is a bad call. It opens Pandora's box for all kinds of things, just like all these rulings have on, fifth year of eligibility and all this stuff. It's going to make eligibility a complete mess. So I don't like it.
What if a guy leaves early for the NFL?
Yeah.
And doesn't
Doesn't
well?
get
Can he get
drafted.
to come back? What's the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. To me, it's just at that point, you're a man. When you've gone and played in a professional league,
Yep.
you're a man. I remember when I was a kid growing up in East Tennessee, much of my family's from Madisonville, and I grew up hearing stories about a guy in Tellico. When Tellico High School would play, they had a guy who would put on like a wrestler's mask, and you didn't know who he was because he was a 45-year-old man that would go out there. He was just the biggest guy in town, and he still played high school ball. That was what was going on in the 50s and 60s. No offense to the folks in Tellico Plains. Go Bears. But I just think at some point, you're a grown man. If you go play over there, you're a grown man.
That's it.
You missed your chance. You don't get to come back. Take your choice more seriously before you leave. What do you think?
I will say this. Initial blush, first blush was don't like it. But I also think, though, this is fair. Because you take a look, Ethan Berg, what was he doing over in Israel? He was playing professional basketball, and yet he somehow still has all of his eligibility in front of him because he's from overseas. Same thing with Clarence Masamba. He's got experience that is beyond what would be the college and high school scope. So I do think...
So because it's Tennessee...
No, because it's the United States of America. There's no reason why these guys shouldn't have the same opportunity to do what these guys have done. So I think this is a fair and even landscape.
It's a good point.
I don't like. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Calipari's take on it. I saw him talk about this before. He said you give a guy 5 years to play for, and keep it that way. I just watched the Texas versus Duke basketball wise, and their point guard is 24 years old at Texas. Like that's just too much. You're playing against 18, 19-year-old guys. I think just at a certain age. There's a big difference, and also I think you give a guy a certain amount of years to play 4 years, and once you do that, that's it. So if you decide to leave,
if you go play, you can come back and finish your.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just like I thought the Kelly Washington and Chad Hutchinson situations are weird. There's a guy at Texas A&M, I think, that came back and played minor league baseball, and now he's playing football.
Chris Winkie came back at 37 years old.
Yeah, so I've always thought
he was an old guy.
That's a professional athlete, but because you were an amateur athlete still technically in another sport, you could come back. I thought that one was always weird.
That's
I'm a
an
bit
age
more.
thing.
I'm
age.
I'm a bit more of a hard ass. We don't do it. Yeah. So that would be, I guess, Yves Pons played pro ball before coming to Tennessee too, didn't he? Did he play pro ball in France?
And I think maybe you put a ceiling on it because you can't go to the NFL until you're three years removed from high school.
Yeah.
It should be that if you are more than 7 years removed from high school, you're no longer eligible to play in the NCAA.
Yeah. The international thing is interesting, though, because a lot of those people who are international, they come up in these academies. So it's real. I mean, it's professional, but it's really not like our idea. They didn't go play college in Israel and then go to the pro league. That's another question for another day. That's a good one. Yeah. All right. Marlon Walls, John Wilkerson, Ryan Callahan. I hope you enjoyed this craziness. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us your answers to these things. Tell us which of those coaching jobs you want. First, second, third, and fourth. Tell us. We'll see you next time right back here on the Sports Source Digital Network.